In this video, we are going to talk about the inequality sign. So it says here, inequality, an inequality in mathematics is a statement of an order, direction, relationship of greater than or equal to, less than, or less than or equal to, between two numbers or algebraic expression. So here's the symbol. I normally call it the head of an arrow. It has an opening and it has a point. So I view this entire symbol as the inequality symbol, and the opening is called greater than, and the point is called less than. If there's an extra line, that extra line is called or equal to, because that is what you see when you see it. Meaning, when you see the point, you say less than. When you see the opening, you say greater than. When you see the order line parallel to that diagonal there, you see or equal to. So no matter what direction it is pointing, the point is called lesser than, and the opening is called greater than. Not the symbol. So I think there is no such thing as the less than symbol. Or better put it, the less than symbol is the point. So the entire symbol is not the less than symbol, nor the greater than symbol. That's what I think. I think the opening, that is the greater than symbol, the opening. So here I have labeled it. The opening, as you can see, is called more than. The point is called a less than. So when you see the point, you see less than. When you see the opening, you see more than. So here's a more elaborate labeling of the symbol, the inequality symbol. So if there's an extra line, you say or equal to. If you see the point, you say less than. If you see the opening, you say more than. And the entire diagram is the inequality symbol. So to demonstrate this further, let's do something. So you've got the entire symbol. Okay? So more than, I will have to put more than there. Less than will have to come by that point as the labeling of that part of the inequality symbol. Less than. And the or equal to is this extra line there, right? So no matter how you turn the symbol, no matter what direction that you spin the symbol, okay, the opening is always called more than, and the point is called less than, and the extra line is called is equal to. Okay, so that's what you see when you see the extra line. So here's a symbol in a mathematical statement. When we see this symbol, we say 10. 10 is, and we are going from left to right because this is the direction we normally speak in English. Read in English also. We read from left to right. We must start from the left side and go towards the right side. Okay? So we say 10 is more than 5, full stop. Okay? So moving from left to right, when we leave 10 and we go to the right, we see the opening. So it's the opening that caused us to say more than, not the entire symbol. It is that opening here that caused us to say more than. No, we must read from left to right in English. So I think that is why a lot of texts call this symbol the more than symbol, because we must read from left to right. So if the symbol is pointing towards the right and the opening is on the left side, then we call it the more than symbol. But I don't think it's the symbol that is the more than symbol. It's the opening we see. That's why we say more than. Now I'm going to show that in a different point. Now, since mathematics is a symbolic language, we can read from right to left. Okay? In English, when you spell in a word, you must spell the word from left to right. But mathematics is all about symbols. So therefore, we can read from right to left. So we can start with the 5. See the direction, right to left. So we start with the 5. We say 5 is, and we see the point. So that's what causes us to say less than. 5 is less than 10. Also, now it's the same symbol pointing in the same direction, but we are saying two different things based on the direction that we are reading from. Okay? So a symbol cannot have two names in mathematics, two opposite names. It cannot be the more than symbol and still plus the less than symbol. When we see, we're supposed to say the same thing consistently. All right, but look at the very same symbol and we are saying two different opposite things. So it's not the symbol per se, it's what we see according to the direction that we read. So 5 is, and we see the point, we say less than 10. Now, this symbol frequently comes with the letter X in statements. It's frequently accompanied by the letter X. So here is a reiteration of the opening is greater than, the point is less than. Now, it says always try to start reading from the letter X. You can also start by saying all the numbers that are. Okay, so you can replace the letter X with the words all the numbers that are. So here are some different scenarios. You have the symbols in the left column and you have the words in the right column. What you see and what you see. So if you see this symbolic statement, what do you see? You're going to see all the numbers that are greater than 5. But we commonly say X is greater than 5. But you're going to replace the letter X with all the numbers that are greater than 5. And that will give you a perspective as to what this statement is saying. Numbers like 5.36. There are infinite numbers that are more than 5. Okay, or greater than 5. What about this one there now? So the rule that I would recommend that you use, always start reading from the letter X. And you can replace the letter X by the words or the numbers that are. So here we see the letter X on the right side. And instinctively we want to read from left to right, yes? You might want to say it is greater than X. But it doesn't really, home in on the interpretation nicely to start by saying all the numbers that are less than 8. And you start to say, what are all the numbers that are less than 8? X is less than 8. Okay, so numbers like 7.96, 0, etc., -8. Okay, a whole bunch of them. Here's another one that normally confused. But if you follow the rule, start with the letter X, you start in the middle. So you see all the numbers that are more than 10 and they are less than 80. Okay, all the numbers that are between 10 and 18 exclusively. Okay, X is greater than 10 and X is less than 80. So numbers like 12, 17.9, it, not 18, it is not included, 17.999, okay, etc. Here's another one with the equal sign. So you start with letter X. X is greater than or equal to it. Now, when you see this one, you see and X is more than 10 and at the same time less than 18. All the numbers that are more than 10 and at the same time less than 18. For example, 12. 12 is greater than 10 and at the same time 12 is less than 18. But here now you've got to say or. X is greater than or equal to 8. So we start with 8. All the numbers that are greater than 8. Okay? 8. You can start it by saying 8 also. 8 for all the numbers that are greater than 8. So X is greater than or equal to 8. For example, 8, 8.9, 10, etc. Always start with the letter X. And finally, a reiteration. Always start trying to start reading from the letter X. You can also start by saying all the numbers that are. Here's a reiteration. The opening is greater than, the point is the less than. First column, what you see, what you see. All the numbers that are greater than or equal to 12. Numbers like 12, 12.3, etc. All the numbers that are greater than or equal to -15 and at the same time less than or equal to 21. So negative and 15 and 21 are included. So inclusive of -15 and 21 and all the numbers in between. So for example, -15, 21, 0, -12, okay, 10, etc. And here, I purposefully angle it in a diagonal sense, and you don't have to twist your head, just look for the X, and you start to read. So in math, you can read from up to down. You can read any different direction. All the numbers that are greater than or equal to 2. Okay, X is greater than or equal to 2. So numbers like 2, 9, 21, etc. So rule of thumb, always try to read from the letter X, and you can replace the letter X with the words all the numbers that are. And the opening is the greater than, and the point is the less than.